A doctored video Pelosi that surfaced this week has been viewed millions of times, and some social media giants are refusing to take it down.
Now, this sort of begs the question, if this video is okay to leave on these platforms, what else is okay to leave on these platforms?
The comment said, "She's trashed," and "She's drunk," and "How many drinks did you have today?" He says whoever made the Pelosi video used editing software that's been around for decades.
I think what's different now is the way that this kind of content can be weaponized.
There are now websites out there where you can ask people for $10-20 to create deep fakes for you.
And right now on social media, it seems people are willing to believe the very worst about the other side.
I think you can see why this can be a real crisis for us, particularly in the upcoming 2020 elections.
Now, you might think one way to solve this would be to force the social media companies to take down these videos. But Mr. Hanna pointed out that, in fact, it takes time to investigate whether a video is real or not. And during that time, millions of people may be watching it. So the damage could already be done.
Facebook's actions drew strong criticism from media watchers. So, what should viewers expect from Facebook and other social media sites when it comes to authenticating material on their platforms?
So the video reflects this problem that we're going to increasingly face, which is that we can't trust our own eyes. So it's not that easy for the average citizen to make sense of what's true and what's false, what gets circulated, what goes viral on Facebook. And so they need to defer to people with expert opinion. I think the Republic begins to suffer if people are getting extremely bad information and the authorities, the elites, the gatekeepers are basically throwing up their hands and saying, not my problem. The last election, we saw how outside actors came in and tried to manipulate the American electorate, spreading misinformation, and Facebook was their primary platform for spreading misinformation. So what happens when those actors, when the Russians or some bad political actors here try to use manipulated video that doesn't just change a snippet in a clip, but that invents things whole cloth? I don't see how, once that fire hose is unleashed, we have any choice but to have some authority step in and make those distinctions about what's real and what's not.
And it's not just the government alone. It's not just the social media companies. It's also the media, academia involved in trying to do this. And also, we can't be promoting this stuff. And if you can't tell the difference between a doctored piece of information and not, that's troubling as well.
Late night shows often do this for a funny drunk effect, but make it clear that they edited the clips. This one purports to be authentic.
This started on a hyper-partisan far-right Facebook page. It has millions of views on there until now. Facebook says they're going to start effectively just de-ranking it a little bit to get it off the pages. They're not going to ban it outright, but it's going to be harder to find on those pages.
They're calling it demoting it.
Yeah, so what they do is they make it harder for people to stumble upon this stuff. In 2016, there was a video about Hillary Clinton having all these diseases and all of these things. That's still up on YouTube. It's an InfoWars video. Still up on YouTube, 7 million views about how she was about to die from all these diseases. We're starting to see where the stuff comes from, and we're starting to get sort of like some language around it, like an etymology of it.
And why won't Facebook take this off if they know it's altered?
They want to protect speech, they say, right? And they don't want to get in the business of taking down all of these videos specifically, because then they just take down a lot of content. So they say every time we're going to face one of these things, we're going to put it in front of fact checkers who can say this is not real, just FYI, and we can de-rank it from there. But that doesn't. You're still going to be able to encounter it, I think.
And how easy it is to edit and doctor video. It used to be if you see it with your eyes and you hear it with your ears, you can believe it.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
Not so sure. It's been viewed millions of times on the internet, but it's not real here. This is really scary, and this is not going away, and I'm fearful this is going to be all over the 2020 election.
And they're trying to say she's like losing it, like she's becoming senile. They're going to try to push that line. And it's pretty dirty tactics. It's politics at its worst.
And who is responsible for monitoring this stuff, taking it down? Facebook,
yeah, well, that's a really
YouTube took this down, but after how long?
YouTube took it down relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Facebook, it's still up. At least it was the last I heard. And Facebook goes through, because Facebook allows you to do a mock video, they would allow Jimmy Kimmel to do it as a mock video. So they sort of have to go through this process. Meanwhile, it's been circulated around the world. You know that old thing about a lie going around the world. It's very fast.
Travels fast.
Yeah.
So we better make sure nobody ever edits us because we'll look like real morons.
Don't give them any ideas.
So we better make sure nobody ever edits us because we'll look like real morons.
And they sort of see this, some of her supporters see this as a sexist attack on Pelosi, and it's really, in their words, only going to make her stronger in her caucus.
While some fake videos are used for humor, cyber pros warn voters' ability to make informed choices is now in danger.
And these videos make a candidate appear to say or appear to do things that the candidate never did. And of course, there's really no end to the various negative ways in which that can be used.
More sophisticated software can make it very difficult to tell what's real and what's fake.
This has really become the new frontier in kind of information persuasion campaigns.
You can call it information persuasion, misinformation manipulation campaigns.
The video remains on Facebook because the company does not have a policy that stipulates whatever you post must be true. Meantime, YouTube has removed the Pelosi videos.
Well, there's a couple of issues there that you've got to deal with. One, the fact that they get left up.
The concern is how much impact these videos will have on the 2020 election.
And so that democratization of access to technology is in some ways where the real danger is.
The video is fake. It's manipulated. Numerous audio and video experts and fact-checking organizations have confirmed that. But that video in particular has been viewed by millions of people on Facebook. And in fact, it's still up on Facebook, even though Facebook knows it's fake. They've added comments from independent fact checkers to inform people who watch it and have made it less prominent, but it is still up there. Now, YouTube took it down, but it's still up on Twitter. They're not even commenting about it. So, Monica, in the wake of the 2016 election, obviously Facebook has repeatedly told Congress, the American people, that you're serious about fighting disinformation and fake news. Yet this doctored video that I think your own fact checkers acknowledge is doctored of Speaker Pelosi remains on your platform. Why?
And this is part of the way that we deal with misinformation. We work with internationally certified fact-checking organizations that are independent from Facebook, and we think these are the right organizations to be making decisions about whether something is true or false. So as soon as we get a rating from them that content is false, then we dramatically reduce the distribution of that content, and we let people know that it's false so they can make an informed choice.
Why keep it up, though?
Yeah.
So
But
misinformation
here,
that doesn't promote violence, but misinformation that, portrays the third most powerful, politician in the country as a drunk or somehow impaired, that's fine.
No, what's important to us is making sure that people have the accurate information to make their own choice.
But it's not accurate
information. And I think if you
information.
look right now at we are telling people that this is false,
Right,
and
but
we
you're
are
not,
putting that
but
information
video
out there
is powerful
from our
than
fact-checking
your
network.
right. But the video is more powerful than whatever you're putting under the video. You certainly have this scale to decide something that you know is clearly fake. It's not even a question. I guess I still just don't logically understand. I understand it's a big business to get into of trying to figure out what's true or not, but you're making money by being in the news business. If you can't do it well, shouldn't you just get out of the news business? If you are in this particular case spreading and allowing the spread of a clearly false doctored video, again, you're in the news business. There's a responsibility that comes with that.
What is your analysis, and what is important for viewers to know if we're going to go into a campaign season where we're going to see more and more of this, pardon the term, but crap?
I think the other thing here, too, to keep in mind is just how unprepared social media platforms really are for this kind of misinformation, particularly in the lead up to the 2020 presidential campaign.
And the saying, life comes at you fast, well, the internet comes at you faster.
And you're going to need a generation of news deliverers or reporters or outlets that are arbiters of this stuff.
Eventually, the culture of how we get information, I mean, speed is so important, but could we get to a point where people say, oh, yeah, I saw that, I heard about that, I'm going to wait till tomorrow and find out from the fact checkers whether it's even real?